Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Y'all, let me calm down because y'all know what I fan out. I be fanning out. So let me talk slowly, okay? Because that's the New Yorker in me. When I find someone that I absolutely love, I don't have on mascara. I don't have on my lashes because this lady not gonna, as they would say in the South, not gonna finna to make me cry, okay? Because when I tell you she is so remarkable, I feel a tear coming.
Uh-oh.
She is so remarkable. She's doing so many amazing things, and she chose to be spend her space with us where she could be doing other things. This is a woman who believes in giving back. This is a woman who's walked through the fire. She's the epitome of we're all in the same book, just different chapters. I can't read all her accolades because I'm gonna be thirsty. Okay, we won't be able to do the show. I got my water because she has so many accolades. It is redunculous. Okay, so we're thrilled to introduce Chelsea Guarriello.
Guarriello.
Guarriello. Okay. Y'all, don't come for me because I didn't say her last name correctly. Don't come for me. Just think about, and I'm not even going to edit that out. Just let me tell you a little bit about this remarkable woman. She's a serial entrepreneur, a potential guest. Okay. Miss Chelsea is doing fabulous things. So basically, her journey, she relocated with minimal, I want y'all to hear me. Thank God I went to the dentist. Minimal belongings and makeup kit. And she established four, not one, two, three, one, two, three, four, six-figure companies. And she's truly an experience. Not only is she experienced, she's very inspiring. Her expertise is in e-commerce and digital marketing. Baby, did you all hear what I said? So that means while you're sleeping, you can make some money. Okay. When I tell you I come long and strong with these guests, I come long and strong. So she's generated seven figures in revenue and now resides in Las Vegas. Okay, Las Vegas. All right, whatever. You got Chelsea. Okay. She's dedicated in empowering women to leave their 9 to 5 and explore a world of drop shipping and e-commerce. Through her platform, she aims to transform lives. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? She's not a hustler because right now we've been finding. Let me explain what I mean by that. She hustles. There's a difference from being from hustles to hustler. Okay, so she has dedicated her life because she wants women who are working 9 to 5. Sometimes you work in these dead end jobs. Yeah, I said it, these dead end jobs, they cap your salary. You thinking, oh, I'm making six figures, but they capping it, baby. And Chelsea is no cap, okay? Oh, baby, she needs to hire me to be her PR. But I want to slow down about her because she was once in our shoes and she decided, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not going to take this anymore. And she's doing something that we all need to do. Invest in ourselves. So by investing in ourselves, you got to invest in people who can help you take you to the next level. So she helps women and rather individuals prioritize creating memories with loved ones over conforming to corporate America's standards. We're not gonna do the side eye. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? She's also about manifesting, getting your dreams. Because think about this: you're sleeping, you're making that money, you wake your family up, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to Acapulco, we're going to Bali." We don't have to be tied down to you have to work a certain amount of years with the company to go away for 3 weeks. So let me stop right now because I need her to talk because we're not going to use the whole show me trying to introduce her. So without further ado, I want y'all to look at the CEO. I'm going to call her Lady Chelsea because that's what she is. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for the sweetest introduction ever. Thank you so much for sharing your platform with me and having me speak to your guests. This really means a lot to me. But thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So let's get into it because I received a couple of texts and emails, questions to ask you. How did you get? First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. We want to know you. Like, you part of the. Wait a minute, the phone's ringing. Oh, the judge just said your adoption papers have been approved. So you are now adopted to the Women of Worthy. I put your adoption papers without you knowing, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. So okay, yeah, my name is Chelsea Guarriello. Originally I'm from the Bronx. I grew up in a single parent household. My mom raising my sister and I. Um, at some point she decided to relocate to Florida, and that's where I spent, the majority of my childhood. Went to school there, graduated college there, went on to live my life the way, everybody does. And the day after I graduated from Florida State University, I relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. And so I became a woman in Atlanta. I feel like, I moved there when I was like, what, 21. And I was just, in search of myself. I graduated with great grades, like just ready to hit the ground running, ready to just see what life had to offer. And I graduated in the heart of the recession in 2009. And so, although I had these huge aspirations for myself, and although I was like so hungry to graduate college quickly so that I could get out there and start working and making a name for myself, with my degree and whatnot, I was met with that whole hiring freeze. I went to school for criminal justice and psychology. So I did have plans and goals to work with the government and just like in that whole realm. And so the hiring freeze really kind of put things on freeze, on pause for me. And it forced me to kind of have to pivot my life from what I had just spent all this time and money investing in to learn. I had to now find out how I was going to pay my bills, outside of my degrees. And so that kind of just allowed me to get creative, allowed me to explore options. And I realized that if I wasn't going to pursue something in my actual field, that if money was my goal, if establishing myself financially and setting myself up financially, I felt like the best route for me to go would be to find a job in sales, because I didn't want a corporate America job that was going to restrict my income in any way. And so that kind of led me down just a whole slew of different job paths that I never saw myself doing, but it allowed me to, make money, make ends meet. And it taught me some really great skills like how to sell and how to market myself, it taught me about branding in certain ways. And, you know, um, I still very much had like that 9 to 5 mindset though. I was just trying to find a job that was secure and reliable that would allow me to make more than the average 9 to 5 would. And so for me, sales just stood out as that opportunity, whether it was like car sales, phone sales. I just knew that that was kind of my lane. And so that lasted for a little bit. And in Atlanta is also where I decided to invest in myself as far as like my time putting into my passion, which was at the time makeup. So I always did my makeup hustle on the side of whatever I was doing. And so, those two things kind of grew simultaneously. And before I knew it, I had made a name for myself as a makeup artist. In Atlanta, I was doing all the girls that, worked at the strip clubs, all the
I
dance.
know it.
Other dancers. I lived right across the street from one of the major strip clubs. So I had like a whole little system going, word of mouth, marketing myself and just being friendly and networking. And I had all the girls at my house before work, after work, whatever. And it was great. And it allowed me to develop my skills as a makeup artist and pursue my passion and make some side income while I did my thing in corporate America. And so I was always teeter tottering on the idea of being an entrepreneur or a freelancer, an independent person, but also having that stability coming in with that paycheck, so that's I was always kind of riding that fence. And so living in Atlanta, I found myself in a very, very toxic and abusive relationship um towards like the tail end of my journey in Atlanta. It came to a screeching halt because the relationship just got so bad and so dangerous that I had to essentially flee Atlanta. And like you said earlier, like I left with nothing. I left with my car and whatever I could stuff in my car. At the time, just a bunch of garbage bags, hefty garbage bags with all my belongings and my makeup kit. I had a little 2-door Scion TC, so not much could fit in there after my big old makeup kit that was like 3 towers tall. So yeah, my car was packed out, and that's, I asked my mom for the first time in my life to borrow some money, and I didn't tell her why. I made up some crazy story, and she knew something was wrong. She flew me to Tampa right away to make sure I was like physically okay, and she gave me $4,000, and she was like, "Listen, I don't know what you got going on, but make this money last and take care of yourself. I'm going to ship your car to wherever you tell me you need to go. I'm not going to ask you any questions because I know you've never done this before. This is not even like you. But I got like, if you need to come home, you can come home." And I was completely broken, completely shattered from this situation. I had very little time to handle it and make all these decisions because the person who was like physically abusing me had just gotten locked up for the domestic incident. And so I knew it was like the clock was ticking, and I only had a little window before he would be being released and come right back to the apartment. And so I had 4 days, like ultimately I had 4 days to literally pack up my whole entire apartment and book a flight and be out the city. And so it was rough. It was very, very rough. And I left Atlanta literally. I felt like soulless, honestly. Like I felt like just like a shell. Like I was there, but like everything I knew and everything I loved and thought I cared about, everything that my life as I knew it, basically my life as I knew it. I had already lived in Atlanta for at that point almost 8 years, something like that. So for me to have to make that decision to leave every single thing behind, including a fully furnished brand new apartment, talking about pots, pans, couches, full beds, everything fully furnished, literally close the door and just say I can't ever come back here. I have to literally turn around, walk away, and never come back, or my life could really be in harm's way. And so that was the hardest decision I think I've ever had to make, honestly, in my life, because it wasn't even just about loving him anymore. It wasn't even about him at that point. It was just like, wow, I really let my whole world, like me being college educated, me rushing to graduate in less than 4 years, like me doing all of these things to push, 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 push. It got me here to the back of a cop car with black eyes and bruises and like pictures being taken, and what, like, how am I being escorted out the city as if I'm a real victim out here? Like, this is crazy. um and so yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really ugly. But when I landed in LA, with my little book bag, and waited 3 days for my car to get shipped to the city, and I stayed at the Travel Lodge right there on like Culver, whatever, like in the hood. Y'all know, if you land in LA, the Travel Lodge right there outside of the airport. And then it ain't nothing nice. It ain't nothing you would invite your family to. It's nothing you would want to visit or vacation to. But when I landed and I just took that first breath of fresh air in LA, I just knew I was going to be all right. I had only been to LA one time my whole life. And, being from the Bronx, LA is just like,
Yeah.
when they said, "Where are you going?" I was like, I don't know where I'm going. Like, I know I'm not going back home. And I know I need to go somewhere far, far away that this man can never get to me. And so I just was like, LA, I need to be in LA. Like, I just gotta go. Like, why the hell am I saying LA? I don't even know anybody. It's so expensive. Who moves to LA like that? And everybody wants to move to LA, but what do they say? But when I get my money right, or I to LA. No, I moved to LA with nothing but whatever my mom blessed me with. And literally garbage bags in my car. And so, but I just felt so free. I just felt so safe. I didn't know I was like in the middle of the hood, but I felt so safe, and I just felt so good. And just, I felt like God had given me another chance, and I wasn't going to play with it this time around, you know? And so, I just had to make my next move my best move. And I just promised myself that I would never, ever, 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 ever allow myself to stoop that low ever again. And that no matter what, I would love myself more than allowing any of these things to ever find me again. And I just had to promise myself that from now on, I was going to move different. I was going to do different. And, that just opened up so many doors for me. I became, you know, a more recognized celebrity makeup artist because my career blossomed more than ever. Once I moved to Los Angeles, God just put some amazing people in my path who opened up so many more doors for me and opportunities for me. And before I knew it, like, life had started over, you know? And yeah, you know, that was really that transition. And after not very long, yeah, I ended up leaving. I got a job at Mac. I got transferred, so I was able to land like a secure job back at Mac Cosmetics. And I'm still so thankful for that too, because the strings that they pulled for me being a new employee of their company and knowing my domestic situation, just the way they came through for me as a company, like to really help and support me and let me know that, like, you know, like, I don't know, they did it in a really great way. I can't really explain it because it's not like I had too many conversations or did too much conversing with corporate Mac on it. But my manager that I went to as my point of contact through this process, the way he was able to finagle things and get me moved and all that is just a blessing that I, you know, really can't describe. But yeah.
Wow. So here's the thing. What would the Chelsea today tell the Chelsea who was sitting in the back of the cop car with the bruises? What would you tell that vulnerable Chelsea?
Um,
Take your time.
um, I think it was like a very surreal moment. Like, it was a very surreal moment because the person that you love so much, you know, is being apprehended, literally dragged. Oh my God. Like, the last visual I had of this person was, you know, literally, um, it's just such a weird thing, you know, when you care about someone who's when you're a victim of domestic violence, it's like the love is still there on your end, you know, like we think that that person loved us as well, but
Right.
our love was genuine, you know, like we really cared for that person. And so just because they're doing something super wrong to you doesn't mean that, you know, you're able to just shut that off. And so it was such a hard feeling seeing the person that you care about and the person that you've really helped through so many dark times and you rode this wave with, you see their life coming to you see what's happening, you know. It took like 16 cops, you know, like it was a big, like very traumatizing scene, you know. And for me, someone who's never really been involved with police, I don't live that type of life, you know. And so that visual is something that like I'll never get over, you know. And like having to go to the police station by myself for the first time. I've never even been to a police station or had a reason to go to a police station. And, you know, here I am just walking into one and I'm just like, you know, sorry guys, my contact popped out. You know, having to like explain to a stranger that, you know, you have to make a report, and then them seeing everything and hearing everything and realizing like, okay, we got you, we're going to get you out of this situation. And I was just like, for the first time, felt so safe. Like, really? Like, you're going to help me? Like, you don't know what's going to happen, if they'll believe you, if they won't believe you. Are you going to tell him and then send me home and then he'll abuse me more because he's mad now? Like, there's so many what ifs. You just don't know how these things play out. And so I'm grateful that I had the courage to go straight to the police department because, you know, when you're in that life, you hear things and like you don't want to get people in trouble. You don't want to snitch. You don't want to tell. You don't want to be the reason a black man gets locked up and gets taken away from his family. And you don't want to be that girl. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be that girl. But in this instance, I had to put me first and not care about my reputation, not care about what other people would say. And I just had to protect myself. If no, I don't have big brothers. I didn't have a dad to come to my rescue. I didn't have any, you know, big homies to call. It was literally me in this city of Atlanta by myself. And I was being abused by someone who knew that I was by myself, who knew that I didn't have any backup, who knew that I didn't have nobody to call. So that day, those cops really were my superheroes, you know. And yeah, like they were deep, like 16 cars. They followed the patrol car that I was in, and they're just like, don't worry, nothing is going to happen to you. This is the same person. These are the same police department that had been called to my house before, and he jumped off the balcony and did a whole high-speed chase on these people before. So they knew they knew what they were getting ready for, and that's why they came how they came. And just that visual of that, I'm just like, he could get killed in this process.
Right,
He
right.
could lose his life. And then it was so many feelings, you know. And yeah, being in the back of that cop car and seeing him come down and just seeing his rage and seeing him look me dead in my face as I sat in the cop car and just say, you know, like, I swear, like, I'm going to kill you. I swear to God, like, you're such a bitch. Like, I'm going to kill you. Like, as he's being restrained, I just knew, like, I just sat there like, God, thank you for like getting me out of this situation. And I just knew I had to get far away from it because it was bad. It was bad, you know? And so, yeah, just being there for yourself ultimately, like I would give myself just a huge hug and just like let you know, or let myself know that like it's okay, like it ends here, you know, like we got this, like we did it, we got through, you know. You got to forgive yourself now for all of those crazy things, because I'm telling, when I tell you, like, I don't know, and it's still something I like really fight with, because you know, people will be like, you know, you just didn't love yourself back then. And I guess that's true, but I never felt like I didn't love myself, to be honest. Like I always knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like I always knew I was a great person. I always loved myself. I always respected myself. So that doesn't really resonate with me when people say that, you know. But I think that I just had the type of heart at the time that I really allowed my love for other people to overshadow my love for myself, is really what I think it was, because I always knew I didn't deserve that type of treatment. I always knew it wasn't love. I always knew that I'm always been a smart person, you know, but sometimes love just overshadows those things, and you find yourself wanting to do and care more for another person than you allow yourself to even do for you, you know? So
Well, what I want to say to you, first of all, I want to give you your flowers for the simple fact that not only did you overcome that and you're showing your vulnerability, but I want people to understand, people don't understand what it takes. Okay, you're crawling up the ladder, you're making money. They don't know what it took to get there and how to stay there. You know, the roads you had to, you know, the things you had to jump through, you know what I'm saying? Or things you had to put up with.
yeah,
So, and let me say this as a Black woman. In our community, we're always trying to protect the Black man, right? And I'm here to stop that foolishness, because we should not have to worry about, oh my God, if he goes to jail, we put him in the system. It's what he did, right? So I want all women to stop worrying or thinking that you're snitching or whatever, because it could have been your life, right? So I thank God you did what you did, because thank God I get to speak to someone such as your caliber on my show. You
yeah,
are a shero. You did the damn thing, right? And it's going to show other women who's going through something to have the strength to leave. Second thing I want to bring up, I hate, and you're not supposed to use the word hate, but damn it, I'm going to say I hate. I hate when people tell women, particularly, you didn't love yourself. It has absolutely nothing to do with not loving
yeah,
yourself. When we have a partner, we want to nurture, we want to take care, and we want to believe, oh, he's going to change, he's going to change. And with baby, I'm sorry, I won't let it happen. So, and it's not that you were stupid, you were gullible, you were naive. No, you were freaking in love. Okay, I'm hoping you have forgiven yourself for him going to jail where he belonged, and for you doing what you went through. But you went through that, and look what it brought you. Okay, look at the amazing freaking woman that you are, the superwoman that you are. Now I wouldn't want you to go through that, but sometimes God brings you through things. You go through things so God can bring you, and He can, and then you have to. It's like pressure. You know what happens with diamonds and pressure.
Yeah.
So then you got that pressure. Look at you now, sis.
Amen.
You know
Amen.
what I'm saying? So
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you. I'm sorry you went through that, but I want other women to hear it because they're stuck in a dead end situation. Maybe the man is working and bringing home the paycheck. Maybe he's beating her. She has no family because, like you, and I tell people, once you come from New York, you can survive anything.
Period.
Okay, we can survive. I'm pop my collar with that.
That-
We can survive anything.
Your abusers from New York too. Then you're screwed, which was my okay. I'm from the Bronx. He was from Brooklyn. It wasn't pretty. Let's just say that.
Damn, I'm from Brooklyn, sis.
That
Really?
you already know. Okay, you already know. One of us ain't coming out alive. Okay, had to get on.
So I want you, because I keep hearing the term boss B, boss B. I don't like hearing that. You're a boss woman. And so now we got through because I said we're all in the same, but just different chapter. So now you found out what you were great at sales. You were great at makeup because I see some of your pictures, honey, and I know some of them you did the makeup on yourself. So I peeped that. So my question is, how did you manage to take e-commerce, drop shipping by storm? How?
So so I started drop shipping years after I moved to LA. I had already been living in LA, started my life over. I was now a well-known makeup artist. I was doing my thing. And I had been single for a minute at this point. And life was fine, but at the same time, I was at that point where it's like, 6, 7 years into the makeup industry, and I was just like, okay, this is cool. I've done all I really cared to do. The money's not adding up to say that. Like I didn't like feel financially super successful in this space, but like I had gotten all my names of like the people I wanted to do and brush shoulders with and connect with in the industry. I had already accomplished that. And I was kind of just like, well, what is next? Like I didn't want to be one of those makeup artists who really, I didn't have the desire to like make a cosmetic line or really go deep into makeup in that realm. But I was ready for my next thing. However, I had established a name for myself in this lane, and I had religious clientele. So it was stable, it was comfortable. And I was grateful for that skill and that asset to be able to pull it out at any point in time and know I can make money. But at the same time, I was ready for something different. And so at this same exact time, my now ex fiance, had just come home from doing a 2-year prison bid, right? And so mind you, his situation is very different. That was just kind of being tied up in the wrong people, wrong things
Mm-hmm,
back
mm-hmm.
years previous, and things kind of caught up back with him. But this is someone who, even while I was in my abusive relationship in Atlanta, this was my best friend. This was one of my male best friends. And so we had major history. We're really, really solid friends. And so even while he was locked up, we remained emailing and friends. And so here I was in LA starting my life over, and I'm communicating with him, letting him know like, hey, I moved from Atlanta to LA as well. And he's like, wow, I'm coming home very shortly and I'm going to be in LA too. And I'm like, oh my God, link up. We went from an ATL to LA. Yay. Like leveling up together, whatever. And so long story short, from the day he came home from prison, we reconnected, and we were just like, like we've been best friends for so long. Like we're now in this new city together. I'm single, you're starting your life over, and here I am, the fixer, right? I'm just like, not that I felt like anything needed to be fixed necessarily, but I had my little name for myself as a makeup artist. I had my little Scion TC. I had my little apartment. It wasn't nothing major, but coming from my abusive situation and
Mm-hmm.
this was me rebuilding, and it was decent. Like I had a decent little foundation again. And so now I had someone who didn't have a foundation again. And I was like, well, come into my world. I got you. Like we go into the top eventually. Like I got the foundation. Come on. And so we did that. And we We did that. And so that recently ended. That turned into a 7-year relationship, engagement, 2 babies. My life is now complete. But I say that to say, in the very beginning of that, once again, love was the driving force, love and nurturing, all of those things that you just said, us women are
Mm-hmm.
doing. And so I decided I was going to build with him. And I didn't know the first thing about what I was going to do because the only skill set that I knew I had was makeup. And that's not something I could teach to him. And, you know, we really talked about it. I'm like, damn, you know, he's like, I've never had a job before. Like everything I did was, you know, in the streets. I was just getting by, figuring it out. So here we are, you know, 28 and I think 26 at the time for him. And he's telling me he has no skills other than rapping and you know, his illegal skills. And other than that, he's just like, I gotta make something shake. And I don't want to go back to prison. So I'm gonna do it the right way. But I don't know what that way is. And I'm like, me either. I only know makeup. But I'm like, we gotta figure it out because I'm not doing that. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with the felon doesn't mean that like it's because I'm trying to stay in that life. Like I only got with you because I know you're headed for greatness and you learned your the hard lesson in prison and you came back stronger than ever and ready to pave the way for your new life. And I saw that light in him. And I'm like, together we can accomplish all of that. If you have the drive and the will, like I see, and I know I have that as well. I was like, we could do that. And so that kind of, you know, that energy of being in a new relationship and just being so head over heels in love and wanting to be with your partner 24/7, that's the life that, I mean, that's what it became instantly, obviously, you know. And so me being a makeup artist and him not having employment at the time, he would be home on house arrest, you know, from sun up to sundown, just at home. And I was having to leave and go do work, go to makeup, go do makeup, go do makeup. And so I found myself like when I would get booked, I didn't even want to go take my bookings anymore because I'm like, oh my God, now I have to be away from you for 12 hours. Like, this sucks. You're just going to be here applying for jobs in this air conditioning and in front of Netflix. And I'm going to be out in traffic in LA with this heavy ass makeup kit and smiling in front of people's face for hours on set. Like this ain't giving. This ain't what I was signing up for.
The
Okay.
math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. Okay. If any like what? And so for you know, for a little bit, that's what it was. And I'm just like finding myself just really missing him and wanting to be home and really desiring for the first time to find a way to make money from home. Like I thought I had the lick of all licks by being a makeup artist and
Mhm.
my own schedule and being able to pick and choose who I worked for. And if you came to me or I came to you, I thought that was big boss status, you know? And then you realize like, no, you still got to leave and go do the job and you still on their time. And if you want to hang out and go to brunch, you can't because if you have an appointment, you still got to go handle it. So I
Mhm.
realized like, dang, like I'm blessed that it's not a 9 to 5, but the way I structured my life as a freelance makeup artist wasn't feeling much different. Still felt very on someone else's time, on someone else's everything, you know? And all I wanted to do was be home with my man, strategizing with him, making sure that we were figuring out life. And so, long story short, that sent me down like a real path of like, man, only getting older. I want to start a family soon. And there's absolutely no way I can do that if you're unable to land employment and you don't have any real skills outside of what you did, because I don't want you to get locked up again. And I also don't want to be a makeup artist mom where I'm on set and I have a baby I'm trying to nurse at the same time. Like, how am I going to be a makeup artist the way I am now and have a child? It just, the math wasn't mathing and I hadn't thought about it previously, but now life gave me love and a man. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the current profession and passion that I've been pursuing is not in cahoots with the mom I'm pregnant right now. Like if I had a baby right now, what would that mean? I would have to leave the baby with him and go to work. And like, how is this going to be feasible for someone like me? You know, in my mind, I was picturing the girl, the woman, the makeup artist on a private jet, nursing her child with her nanny right beside her with the bottle to help. And that's what I thought. And here I was at 28 and I'm like, well, when is that going to happen? Like my clock is not, you know? And so I realized like, wow, okay, I have to make it. I'm late. Like I'm late. This is the first time in my life at like 27, 28. I'm like, I took too long to figure this out. I am behind. I'm late. I have to have kids like immediately and I'm not ready. I'm not married and I'm not rich and I'm not stable enough at all. Cause now I have a man who doesn't have employment, you know? So I realized like I had no time to waste is really what I'm getting at. Like I didn't have time to feel sorry about it or to be depressed about it, but I definitely felt like the clock was beyond ticking and I felt almost suffocated by it. And me being like that type of person, like once something really clicks to me, whether it's like the man that I'm laying with is not for me, like I have like those epiphany moments that sometimes I'm a little hard headed, but like
Mhm.
really clicks, I'm like, and I immediately feel like I have to make up for lost time. Like I feel like I'm scrambling, like, no, 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 this is not my environment. I got to get the F on. And that's how that happened. But it's like, how can you get the F on if that's your only source of income?
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
options. So next thing you know, I'm finding myself literally every day like feeling suffocated, feeling not depressed, but very, very anxious. My anxiety, because I just realized like I'm working against time. I've effed off a lot of time with a lot of loser men, a lot of loser situations, and it's all my fault, my choices. But those years I can't get back. And
Mhm.
now I'm trying to do the right thing and this and that. But I have wasted a lot of time taking this life for granted, thinking that I would just have another day every day. And it just all hit me at once. And I was like, okay, what do I do, God? Like, I'm ready to change it up right now and go full force and figure it out and create this and have it tomorrow. And I just realized, like, okay, this is not going to be a tomorrow thing. So I have to literally lock in and I really have to embody this and make this my new life if I'm going to make up for all the years and lost time that I just played around and, you know, wasn't productive and just played like I had another tomorrow, you know? And so it sent us on a journey of just constantly researching like different ways to make money from home. Living in LA, there's so many people that you're in your apartment building and you see them getting into Bentleys, young little kids, you know, walking dogs that cost $10,000. And it just makes you start to ask questions like, what
Mhm.
with their 24 hours that I don't know. And so that mindset kind of sent me on this. I'm an introvert. I really don't talk to people like that, but it forced me to be like inquisitive and just start asking these little kids like on the corner or the ones with the videos recording them. I didn't know anything about content creation and like all this stuff. I was just a makeup artist. Like Sephora, Mac, red carpets, like real in-person events, not social media, not computers, not iPhones. I had like an old, outdated iPhone. I didn't care about none of that. So for me, when I see these kids like living this life in LA, I'm just like, this is just the LA lifestyle. Kids who grew up here, this is how kids live out here. They're rich and this is what they drive. And this is how I didn't even realize like, well, maybe some of these kids really figured it out. Like maybe these
Mhm.
different cool things that I never heard of at school and school didn't teach me. And so I started asking questions and then the first few things I started hearing were like, oh yeah, well I do stocks, you know, like I'm 19 and I live in this condo that costs, you know, $500,000 and yeah, I do stocks. And I'm just like, whoa, stocks. I never heard of that. What cryptocurrency, e-commerce, like what subject was that? What lesson? I didn't at school. Like where do in crypto stocks, e-commerce, this and that, influencer marketing, trading. I'm like, I've never, where did y'all learn this stuff? So it just it forced me to realize like, wow, there's things that I could have been learning, could have been learning that school didn't provide to me. Like I was supposed to learn in that university or in that institution. I didn't even know that there's better or other alternatives outside of education through the system. Once I realized that these kids had explored options that like our community just wasn't really savvy to, I realized like I wanted to become a student again and I wanted to learn from these people. I wanted to see like if I knew these things, like what it could do for me. And so unfortunately I didn't have like friends or like people like that in that world that I could just, hey, can you put me on a crypto or can you teach me e-commerce? It wasn't that type of energy. Anytime I came to my friends like, hey guys, have y'all heard about this thing or that? Yeah, I've heard about that. That's a scam. Like, I don't know. I've heard that's people lose tons of money. I'm not doing that. Oh, crypto. Yeah, my uncles, neighbors, dads, mom lost it all. back in '09 or whatever. I'm just like, what? Like, so lots of naysayers, lots of that type of energy. And that kind of made me be even more quiet about my ideas and feel even more scared and pressured. But I knew that this realm was real. I knew that there was something out there other than this life and lifestyle that I was accustomed to. I had already been exposed to the lifestyle of the rich and the famous through my makeup artistry. So now I'm connecting the dots like, damn, it's not all luck. It's not all privilege. It's not all, oh, she's black, but he's white. And that's whatever, it's not all that anymore. It's now really just a matter of like, getting in the right rooms, learning from the right people, making the right connections, and putting that shit all together and making it something shake. And I realized that, I'm like, okay, that's it. And so I went to the library one day while we were on our wild goose hunt of an opportunity for my ex, driving around looking for places of employment. One of the days we went to the library for him to put in an application just to satisfy his probation officer. So that's what we would do from 7 in the morning till 4 p.m. was the windows that he was able to be out of the house to go search for a job, to go search. So we would go run around town, get his little signatures, go to Pet Boys, Sam's Club, get all the signatures. And the rest of the hours, we were trying to get some money. Like, we were like, okay, now that we got the job applications that were never going to allow us to pay our bills out the way, now we got to go make something shake. Like, let's go to the library and mastermind. Like, let's go talk to some people. Let's go do a local meetup, and talk to some of these people who are making money on the internet. Like, let's learn some other stuff, right? And so one day we're at the library. He's putting a little application in, acting like he's applying at the library. And I'm just sitting there feeling so defeated. Like, I'm just about to break down, cry, because I had just stopped at the mailbox. I'm looking at these bills and I'm just like, these bills are getting a little bit bigger because now there's 2 of us in this apartment, and it's cool, but you have no income, and you're also not the type of person that I can tell, wow, my bills are going up because of you. And he won't go back on the block and find a way real quick. He's not that type of person that, like, and I didn't want to give him that energy that I was getting desperate or feeling worried. I wanted him to feel secure and patient, but at the same time, it was starting to scare me a little bit. And so I'm at the library that day wondering, like, did I make another stupid ass decision? Like, did I let love bring me down another path that's going to set my life 10 years back again? Like, didn't I fall in love? Should I just kept him as a best friend? Because now my life became difficult all over again, in a way, or challenging, I should say, And so I'm at the library just feeling really, really defeated. And I just started walking down like the aisles, and I stumbled upon like this little manual, like 100 pages probably. And it was like 100 or 1,000 ways to make money from home or something of that nature. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is pathetic. Like, I'm a college graduate, like, I'm a smart girl, and here I am at the I haven't been to a library in like 20 years, and I'm just looking for employment or looking for opportunity at the library in a manual, And the first like 50 pages were also insulting. I'm just like, I'm not going to be a dog walker. I'm not going to be a closet. I'm not going to be a professional dog pooper, picker upper, like, absolutely not, And then the last page, one of the last options was drop shipping, and it gave like a little summary of it. And I was like, okay, a form of e-commerce that allows you to sell physical products to people all over the world that you never have to actually have inventory for. And it gave more, because in terms, I'm like, well, what? So whatever it said was enough for me to understand that I can make money without having to buy anything first. And I had such little resources that's all I needed to know, was that you can start with very minimal investment. You don't need a lot of space. You can have, because I had a studio apartment, so I didn't have a lot of space. Okay. And so I'm like, okay, check. I don't got that. Check. I don't got a lot of money. Check. You're on your last breath. Yeah, that's me. Okay, let me try. I just felt like that was God's blessing. Like, that opportunity was put there for me to see that, like, no, God didn't forget about you. Everything you're praying for, everything you're asking for is right in front of you. But now I'm going to test you, and I'm going to see if you're just someone who's going to constantly be looking. And then say, "Ah, now I got a headache," and you start crying about the headache? Or do you realize like, oh, it hit me because the answer's right there? Like there's two different types of people, you know? And so this time I didn't want that lesson to pass me by. And I laser focused on it. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to overthink this. I've been crying sitting here for an hour. Like, I can do this. I can do this. It's basically telling me I could be a middleman. I've been a middleman before. Okay. I've been a middleman a time or two. So I'm like,
Mhm.
if this is legit and I can sell something that's not going to risk me going to prison or getting in trouble or be in danger in any way, and I can sell things that people already are looking for, like AirPods or headphones or, you know, what things like that people want, like, let me try this. And so I locked in. I locked in like my life depended on it. And 5.5 months later, I had made over $120,000 in revenue. And my life literally changed. And it definitely wasn't overnight, obviously, but it completely just changed. It changed. That store turned into a store that brought in over $250,000 over a 2-year period. And that skill set went on to making me $500,000 as a drop shipper. Once I learned how to drop ship and I made that amount of money, I realized like what I had access to, what I had just uncovered and what I had just created from. I saw me go from this apartment to that, from this Scion TC to this G-Wagon. I'm like, whoa, it's working. It worked. It worked. Like yeah, like it's not that no more. And I started to really see like, oh my God, like it's where I need to tell people about this. Like and actually I didn't even say that at first. Like people in my life were like, what the hell are you
You're doing, yeah.
that stuff? No, I swear to God, we're not doing anything. Like we're working. We're really starting businesses. And so that's kind of what led to me helping others and teaching others, is people being curious and me explaining and like seeing that, whoa, this is a duplicatable system. Like this is something that I could teach other people to do and all that. And so now here we are today, and we've launched HG Marketing, which is a company that creates programs to help people like me, like you, like us, you know, who once thought God forgot about them and goes on YouTube and sees people that don't resonate with them or talk in a way that's like, what is this? This is Chinese to me. I create programs for people like that so that, you know, like, no, you can do this too. This is how this works. I'm gonna break it down for you so that whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a normal 9 to 5, you know, corporate mindseted person, you can break into this industry with success, you know? So that's what led us here. And now we've made millions of dollars, you know, selling digital products to people all over the world to help them find financial freedom and success.
Your story, when I tell you, this is the first time I think I've done a show or had a conversation and I didn't have to say anything.
Oh,
Because your story, no, and it's not a chatterbox thing. It's because your story is so amazing. I wanted people to hear from start to finish, and then we segue into interrelationships, right? Because as women, we're the nurturer. We want to take care of the man. Then we got to take care of the house. And you said something that I so understand. Like when the bills were coming in, and most women understand, you feel like you're choking and you're like, what the hell? What's going on? Because for me, what I decided to do, I used to train doctors. I left a 6-figure income and I said, you know what? No. And I'm not doing it because I'm better than, but I am not going to let you control what I do, because at a certain level, it's capped. When you know you can make so much more money than that, right? Because you're confident and you know your skills selling and things like that. So that resonated with me when you said that. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with being conceited or being, no, you know what your skills are. And if you know what your skills are, ain't nothing wrong with popping your collar about your skills, right? And I resonated when you said you're an introvert, because believe it or not, and people don't, I'm an introvert extrovert, right?
yeah.
I do all of this and yeah, but after a while, I just want to let my favorite place in the world is the library, because you can't talk too much in the library. It's my favorite place in the world of all the places I've traveled, because I got to shut up, can't say nothing. And that's when I find myself rejuvenating and, getting the juices back and things like that. So with that said, what is the name of your marketing company? So for people who want to contact you and for consultation or whatever it is that you're doing, they can, because let's face it, now we're in this recession. I told you before, I don't believe in that word because people are still out there making money. People are spending $2,000 to $3,000 to go to Beyonce's concert, and these are people who have 9 to 5. That's not including the outfit that they're spending or traveling to go see her. Because I believe people spend money on what they want to spend money on. They will
Here.
find the money to spend it. But somehow in our community, Lord, please let me not go on a rant right now because you know how I go into rants.
I
In
know.
our community, somehow when we have to put money in an expert's hand that look like us, it's a problem. But when
I,
they look like someone else, I'm gonna put it in. So we have to understand, for me, I'm always bringing people who are experts onto the show to talk about things like that. Okay, so how can people contact you? What can they do? What they need to do?
yeah. Okay. So on social media, I'm Learn with Chelsea. So you can connect with me on all social media platforms using that name, Learn with Chelsea. And wow, I have so many different ways of helping people. Like I offer so many different um types of programs, but my number one seller, the way that people I think appreciate learning from me the most is through my mentorship program, where I offer direct access to me. It's not like a learn on your own thing. It's a mentorship where you work with me directly. You're a part of a like-minded community of thousands of other women who are also a part of this journey. And that program is called Online Business Mastery. And so I've put everything that I've learned and mastered over the last 7 years of being a marketer into that mentorship. And it's teaching people how to generate a six-figure income in as little as 6 months.
Is
And
it online business mastery? Okay.
mhm. And so if you abbreviate it, it's OBM. And so, yeah, if anybody is interested in, joining that program or getting mentorship from me, now it is an investment. Obviously, I'm teaching how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm teaching you how to completely change your life with this business model. And I'm giving you guys, I'm giving my mentees access to not just me, but my actual team. We really get in there with you and really help you, guide you, teach you everything you need to know about creating your online business the right way, so that you can generate another income stream. We're living in crazy times right now, and you just never know how reliable that job, that one income you have is. So it's important to me to be putting this information out there. Right now, I do have a really big sale going on where it is half off. So normally it's a $5,000 program, but it is 50% off right now. And it's just because my daughter's birthday, she's turning 5 this month. I wanted to do something extra special. Like, I just think about if it wasn't for my kids, even though I didn't have my kids back then when I started this, they were the reason that I went so
Mhm.
hard. I just knew I wanted a family so bad, and I knew the exact type of mother and lifestyle I wanted to have for my kids. And so now when I'm traveling with them, now we're on these planes and we're booked here and there, and my kids are at my shows and my events, and they can see mommy on stage talking to hundreds of people. I'm like, this is what I did it for back then. This is the vision that I had back then, and I'm so grateful I'm able to be that type of mom now. So I really want to get as many women as involved as possible. And that's why I'm doing this 50% off sale this month. So if any of you are interested in learning more about it and want to jump in potentially to work with someone like me, you can just DM me the letters OBM. And I will send you the information with the discount already included so that you could take advantage of it. Because we don't do sales often in my company. We're really like, we really know our worth. We really stand on that value, and I over deliver just like I do in my personal relationships. I damn sure gonna do it for people who are believing in themselves and investing in me. Is something I take very, very seriously. So always aiming to over deliver and just put my people on. That's it. Like I would never ever, you know, the premise of my abusive relationship, the one that we talked about, was financial abuse. That was the reason for all of it. It wasn't cheating. It wasn't alcohol. It wasn't drugs. It was domestic. It was financially related. And so, with that in mind, it's like, it's really important to me to help women become financially successful and independent and always have a way to make their own money, because you just never know that relationship that you're in where that man is taking care of everything, got you feeling like, soft life will never come to an end, or whatever the case may be for your situation. Your man's giving you money or putting you in a position, whatever, that can all go away. And we get comfortable sometimes, last forever, and when they don't, we don't know how to bounce back and take care of ourselves. Like, how many of us after a breakup end up spiraling downhill for the next year or two because all of our money was tied up, or he messed up our credit, or he da 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 when he left. And we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that, so I'm all about helping women stay focused on what's important. And it's not to say money is the most important thing, but just setting yourself up and taking out a year of your life to just pour into yourself for a second and make sure that you have at least a solid foundation, so that if your job ever fails you, or something ever, God forbid, you break a foot or something, you got to call out of work, you're not going to be freaking out that you went 2 months without being able to work at your job and living off of unemployment, or whatever the case. Like, waking up to money every single day is a blessing. And before you even
Mhm.
wake up and open your eyes, you've already made hundreds of dollars. Like, I feel like every parent deserves to have a skill that can allow them that type of freedom and like comfort, stability, knowing that, like, okay, I don't got to chase my next dollar every day. It doesn't have to be a hustle. Every day doesn't have to feel like such a grind. Like, life can be simple, and I could give myself the soft life and still make my own money.
Right. Exactly. And the great thing is you get to be with your kids, because usually when the kids grow up, that's when you wish that you spent that time. So what you're doing is you're creating memories. I want to thank Chelsea for being on here, and I'm going to send out all the information about her, because again, as women, it's great that we have, a wonderful relationship, let's say with our significant other. But you also want to be able to stand on your feet, because they can get sick, deaf, anything can happen. And if they're managing everything, you have no idea what's going on behind. And then all of a sudden the creditors are coming and you're like, wait a minute, I thought. You don't want that. So without further ado, Chelsea, I want to thank you for being, a wonderful, wonderful light, beacon of light, and a messenger to give the message on the dinero, the dollar, the pesos. And we want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. Don't forget to like. Ooh, my team gonna hit me. They're not gonna be happy. I should have said this in the beginning. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because y'all know I have this sharing is caring. I'm always bringing people on who's going to, level you up, because that song Sierra, level up. We bringing people on to level you up, because you can't be the same person you was yesterday, today. You always got to level up. So again, we want to thank everyone. We want you to have a wonderful day, have a monumental Monday, turnaround Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, thankful Thursday, fearless Friday, soothing Saturday, and self-care Sunday. You know what I'll be telling you about that self-care Sunday.
Can't skip the self-care Sunday.
And you can't forget that. I want people to know. So bye, everyone.